Yep.
Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Irvine International Academy regularly scheduled board meeting. Today is April 7, 2026. The time is 5:59 p.m. We are located at 4782 Karen Ann Lane, Irvine, California 92604. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Go through roll call. Molly?
Present.
Felipe?
Present.
Brett Freeman is here. David?
Present.
Okay, moving next to the approval of the agenda. Approval of the agenda for the regular meeting of the Irvine International Academy Board of Directors on April 7, 2026. It's recommended the Board of Directors approve the agenda for the regular meeting of the Irvine International Academy Board of Directors today, April 7, 2026. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you, David. Is there a second? Thank you, Molly. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
Okay. Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Okay, moving on to community input on closed session agenda items. Members of the public may comment on items listed on the closed session agenda only. Public comments include emailed comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per comment and up to 20 minutes of public comment. Do we have any public comments for closed session agenda items?
We do not.
Okay, thank you. Next, we'll move to closed session where we will discuss the public employee appointment of our executive director, conference with real property negotiations regarding this property, and also have a conference with legal counsel regarding anticipated litigation. We should reconvene in approximately 1 hour. Ready?
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone for your patience. As we just broke out of closed session, the time is 7:15 p.m. No action was taken in closed session. We'll move next to the flag salute, which I would like to volunteer, if that's okay. Would you please stand with the flag to our left, right hand over your heart. Please begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, moving next. Community input on agendized and non-agendized items. The public may comment on items listed on the agenda, including the consent calendar, presentation, discussion, committee, and action items. The public may also comment on items not listed on the agenda that are within the legal purview of the Board of Directors. Are there any public comments?
There are none.
Thank you. Moving next to items for consent. It's recommended the Board of Directors approve consent items A and B. We've got approving the minutes from the regular board meeting of the IIA Board of Directors on March 17, 2026, and approve the personnel report. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion, so second.
Thank you, Felipe. Thank you, David. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Okay, moving to items for discussion and possible action. First item is review of comparable compensation data for charter school, heads of school, executive directors, CEOs, and approve the executive compensation paid to the executive director. California Nonprofit Integrity Act of 2004 mandates the Board of Directors review comparable executive compensation packages for educational executives prior to implementing a new contract. LCAP goal, action, goal 1, action 2, funding source not applicable, budget financial impact not applicable. It's recommended the Board of Directors approve action item A. Okay, so we do have a salary study that was prepared for us and made available in the public folder. It is dated February 2026, and it's titled Governing Board of Irvine International Academy Summary of Compensation and Benefits Survey Data for Executive Director. Included, we have some schools within the Orange County area, including El Sol, Samuel Academy, Nova, OCCA, El Moro, SIA Tech, SIA Tech, which includes both the LA and San Diego counties. So at least gives us some idea about what compensation looks like for the leaders at those particular schools. Of course, we need to consider the compensation for the new school year for our executive director. That would begin July 1st of 2026. I would like to open it up to the board here to discuss what we think that number might look like, and get some of your opinions to see if we can align on what number we can agree to for purposes of the employment renewal, employment agreement renewal for our executive director. I open the floor.
So, I believe to actually start with discussion, somebody needs to make a motion. Is that correct? To start our discussion process?
So I entertain that. If that's what we would like to do, we can make a motion to approve this, but also we would be making a motion then to align on whatever the comp number is. So
Okay,
I'm opening it up. I was going to open it up to having a discussion first, and then if we wanted to make a motion to approve this as well as to approve the compensation number, we can do that as well.
Okay, so you're talking specifically the summary or the compensation
Correct.
survey data, right?
And using that data to make a number that we would like, that we can align on for our own executive director.
Okay. So I'd like to ask a question before.
Yep.
I'm going to talk in here so it gets recorded. So, can you, or what I don't see in here is what is her current salary?
Yeah,
Can you give me that number?
So the current number is 196, one second.
What was it?
Hold on a second, it's 196 if I'm not mistaken, but let me give you the exact number. Actually, I have it right here. 196, 410. And that is before considering the doctoral stipend,
So,
which is 3,590.
so is that the base
That's
salary?
the base salary, and that's what we're discussing here, the
Right.
base.
So give it to me again. What was the base?
196,410.
Okay, so that was the base salary before other compensations. Is that right?
That's right.
Which would be.
And the main
which
one,
would
main
be-
other one being the doctoral stipend, but obviously there's vacation days, sick days, things of that nature. And I believe, if you can please refresh our memories, the range that we're looking at for the adjustments for our staff for this year is between 3 and 5.5, is that right?
So when we did a comparable salary study, I sent in a board update. Our average employee is getting a 3% through step and column, and our range goes to 5.6.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I do have some scenarios based on a 3% increase or a 3.5% increase, a 4% increase, a 4.5%, all the way up to 6,
Okay.
moving by increments of 0.5.
Can you give me what the 4% number would be?
That would be $204,266, if I've done my math correct. So basically an increase of $7,856.
So which it basically brings it to.
207,856 if you include the stipend.
What is the percentage you are saying?
4%.
4%. Which is at 204, 266.
Correct.
We also needed to put this in the contest with other schools with considering the size of the enrollment. I think in anticipation, right, the school will have an enrollment close to 700. So we're gonna have to take that into consideration. So this is the past data to the current data for 2025 or 2024.
2024, right? I believe it's 2024.
The
That's
student,
so-
yeah, the enrollment figures are from 2024.
2024.
So the salary data is of 2024 as well. So basically, we have to think we're going to use 2025 as a benchmark. Okay. That being said, I'm thinking probably the percentage or two kind of move to the right, a little bit higher to reflect that, to make it fairer.
So for the other employees, how did they decide 3% besides the column? How did they get to 5.6%?
It really is just the nature of the step and columns. So we looked at the salary ranges that the board had approved last year and the steps in the columns. We actually even put it into AI because to see that, so if you just happen to be year 6 and you get education in that step, then you get a 5%. It's arbitrary based on where everybody is in the column. There's no, you get this much, you get this much. It's where are you, and the next step is here. So it's some steps after certain thresholds of years get a little bit higher. You know how I've been in districts where it's after year 5 you get a little more of a bump after, that kind of thing.
So
Go by almost yearly.
the majority of them did not get 5.6. Right.
No, that was the range. The average was 3. Yeah, and it was very few that, I think it was 6 that did not move because they are already maxed out in education and in years of service, because it's not just their years with IIA, we count their years of service coming in. So we do have a few that won't be getting anything, but they've been communicated, they know that they're maxed until the board, and we bring another whole salary range forward, then, we could change that. But at this point, based on what we communicated last year, that's where everybody is.
If I look at this data, the average base salary is 222, 200 something, right? So, if we're going to bring that on par with that, we're going to need to adjust that to
This much higher.
and do over 5.
Yeah.
That's 5%. So
I know.
Yeah.
So you need 2 motions here, right?
Yeah.
The first one is to accept
The percentage.
So let me read this again.
Okay.
So what we're doing here is we're reviewing the comparable comp data for charter school heads of school, executive directors, CEOs, and then we're approving the executive compensation paid to the executive director.
Oh, in both?
Yeah.
So it's actually 2.
One we're reviewing, and 2 we're approving.
Got it.
Approving,
So
yeah.
this is the key factor. We need to approve the new compensation, the new
Right.
base salary.
And
Increase.
Increase.
That's about the.
And we haven't got a motion yet.
But we don't have a motion yet. We have to,
Okay.
we have to align and see if we can.
So I'm going to get the ball rolling here.
Yeah.
I'm going to motion that we approve the compensation study. Should I call it a study? What do we call it? It's a,
We're just reviewing. the
oh,
study.
I'm sorry. We reviewed the.
We don't need to approve.
So we don't really need to approve that.
We don't approve that.
But we reviewed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I make a motion that propose a 4.5% for our
base salary.
4.5% increase.
Increase,
Of
4.5, I
the
make a
base
motion
salary.
for 4.5% increase.
Okay.
Okay,
And
that's my motion.
Can you,
Can you say it again?
no, can you just provide some context as to how you came up with the 4.5?
I will tell you, there's two reasons. Number one, I am looking at the average salary here. And so that is a factor. But I think what's not here is the average students, which I think is important to gauge where we're at. We don't see that here really, but it's probably something to calculate quickly, right? But I think that average is still higher, it's gonna be higher. But number two, I definitely think her performance in the year that we've had her here is certainly aligns with that number. And the third thing, which I think is the most important, when we originally hired her, she was at the lowest scale, specifically pushed for her to be at the lowest scale, because we really didn't know what she could do for us, right? I want her to show me the money before we give them the money, right? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think she's done that. So, in my opinion, we should be at 4.5. That's why
Okay.
I picked 4.5.
Thank you.
Yeah, because it satisfies those two things, or three things: the performance, the fact that it was a lower scale salary when we started, and based on what I see here from the review. So three things.
Okay, so there's a motion for 4.5%. Is there a second?
Yeah, can I say something? I look at the comp data, okay, and I look Orange County Classical Academy, the 740 students, which is very similar to us projected, right? Roughly 700. So in terms of the size, we are basically on par with that school. And if you look at the other one, Nova Academy, it's smaller, with 523 students, and the comp, the total base salary is, it's also above 200, that's 230, if I'm not mistaken.
The base salary is 205.
So, yeah, basically for most of these base salary except the first is lower. I mean, sometimes this is only a reference because
It's a
base salary has
yeah.
many,
Yeah.
based on many factors, education, years in working experience, how many years and so forth, performance, of course. So I think for the same reason, Felipe suggested, when we hired Dr. Henry, at that time I recall, she was anticipating much higher. At that time I would say, hey, let's take a look, yeah. And I saw that her base salary was over 200, okay, but it's close. So I think, to make the on par and with others, and also recognize her contributions, performance. But so far, we haven't have a definitive, like a paper yet, but based on my observation, based on
We haven't finished the year.
yeah, we haven't finished the year yet, but based on what we observed so far, I think it looks pretty encouraging, right? Pretty good. So I'm a little bit more optimistic. I would have proposed to have 5% instead
Okay.
of 4.5.
Well, we have a motion right now for 4.5%.
Yeah.
So that's from Felipe. Is there a second? So I'm happy to second on 4.5. And before we get to your, that's a new motion.
Okay. Before we need to vote.
We need to vote and,
okay.
and whatever.
When you say second, okay, you mean second, I thought you were asking for second opinion.
No, I mean,
Okay.
is there a second on the
I know,
motion?
yeah.
And what I would suggest, and I would like to get your
Gotcha,
opinions,
gotcha,
if we're
gotcha.
50-50, we go back to discussion again.
Well, give me a second to think there. Give me a second to think. So now that we have a second, we can have more discussion.
Well, We have a second. We can have more discussion on it,
we have
but we're gonna vote on it.
We are gonna vote.
So what I suggest is if we're 50-50, and I'm bringing this floor to the floor, if we're 50-50, we go back to discussion
Okay,
and entertain a new motion.
right.
Because you guys, I mean, we're four of us here, so we should all, majority agree.
Yeah, of course.
Versus
Understood.
50-50, right? Versus-
Understood.
Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
Right, but protocol,
Yeah.
because I want to ask a
Yeah,
question.
yeah,
I
yeah.
gotta ask a question.
Yeah,
We still can have discussion right now about this motion.
You can have discussion, but
You
we're
can-
still gonna vote on it.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm okay with that.
yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
So here's my question. Did you calculate what 4.5
Yeah.
is? You have 4.5, yeah.
4.5 is an increase of 98.20, 9,820 and 50 cents. And that puts her
What's the base?
205, 248.
Okay. But that was my only question.
So, okay, let's take a vote, and if it's 50-50, we'll just go back to discussion. Okay, now I'm gonna make sure I hear all of your, how you guys are voting. Okay, all right, so we're gonna take a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
Okay, you were a nay?
Yeah, I'm a nay.
Okay. Okay. So there was a- Okay, all right. Open it up again.
Okay.
Do you want
So
more
do you
discussion?
want to make a motion?
Yeah, I want to make a
or-
motion because I
Make a
already,
motion. I think we heard you just.
Make a motion?
Yeah, I'm gonna make a motion to increase the base salary to 5%.
Okay.
Or by 5%.
Okay.
Yeah, for the same reason, same argument.
Okay.
Same
So,
argument.
Just the protocol,
Yeah,
I'm going to second
Yeah.
his motion.
Okay,
I'm
all
going to
right.
second his motion.
Okay.
And you can have,
yeah.
more
So
discussion.
same
Are you
argument.
clear on this, as we're
Yeah.
taking our
Yeah.
votes?
And
No,
also,
we're doing this right.
and
No, we're-
also,
I think we're on track.
We're okay.
Yeah,
No, we're
try
on
to
track.
be more in line with the base
Okay.
salary proposed,
So before we vote,
summarized by.
Yeah,
Before we
with the
vote,
discussion.
I have a question. What is 5%? You have 5%.
Yes, 5% puts her at 206, 230 before the
And just
stipend.
$1,000 more.
Yeah, every 50 basis
Yeah.
points is about 1,000.
$1,000 more, yeah, you can, do the math.
Yeah, but.
Yeah,
So that
You're
puts her
right.
all in with the stipend
yeah.
at 5%, right? 209, 820.
209,
50 cents.
yeah, 209, what's the number again?
209, 820.
820.
and
okay,
50
yeah,
cents.
Okay,
So,
yeah,
so I would add to our discussion.
Yeah.
I would add to the discussion. We haven't voted yet. Yeah. One of the things I just did is I calculated what the average
Yeah, for
students
students.
Yeah,
here, because one of the factors we're using here is the average total base,
yeah.
whereas the base salary here from our review. And I calculated it and then I lost it here. Give me a second. I think it was 800 and was the average. 809. So that average base salary of 220 is based on with the average students
Yeah.
of 809.
yeah.
Which is just a factor that we need to consider
Yeah, sure.
in our discussion.
Yes.
Right, so I just wanted to throw that out there for everybody,
Mhm.
that they know where that base salary is comparable
Yeah.
to students. Okay, just because you need to
But that
balance
one
it.
is 2024, right?
It is 2024,
2024.
you're right. Yeah, that's a good point, it is
Yeah.
2024.
So that's what I
I'm.
proposed previously. The numbers are already 2024 numbers, not the 2025 numbers, so you needed to.
And I can't really say whether that would be, the enrollment would be higher or
Yeah.
lower.
And-
I wouldn't.
That's what you said, right?
So do we go by 2024 or 2025 or 2026?
Well, we don't have 2025.
So there's a,
So
1 year.
what it says is the compensation information below is from 2022, 2023, and 2024 calendar or fiscal years.
Yeah.
As a result, conservatively adding 3% for each year
Yeah.
to reach updated figures for 2026
Yeah.
would provide.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
So
they're,
it gives you some reference
so
there.
they are projecting
Yeah.
Yeah.
some number here. It's not the exact number,
Yeah.
it's a projected number.
You projected to 222.
2025,
Yeah.
2026.
So, yeah, so my, that's why I proposed to have something,
Okay.
percentage to get it closer to that.
So we, David, you have the 5% you made a motion
Yeah.
for, Felipe seconded
Yeah.
it. Is there any discussion before we vote? Let's take a vote.
I know, I'm not sure I'm gonna say what I want to
Let's
say.
take a vote. All
I
right.
think we're okay with, I think we should keep our mouth shut. Go ahead.
No, I was just thinking, so the one we have over here, according to, it's for 2026, no, so the 2026, the average is about 222,000, is that right?
Yeah. So they factored that number up
Yeah,
3%
by 3%.
every year to get us a number for 2025, 26. I'm gonna call it that, 2025, 26. Including the
So
students,
you
I would
do the
imagine.
5% increases. This
Including the
number,
students.
I don't know yet.
It's 209, total, so 206, 230.
206, 207.
Yeah.
So not 209.
209 is with the stipend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so, ready to take a vote?
Yeah.
Okay, at 5%, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Okay, so the number is, the increase is 5%, $206,230.50, assuming we got the same numbers, that's correct.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, we have our new number. Okay, moving on to approve the employment agreement for the Executive Director of Irvine International Academy. The IIA Board of Directors selected to offer an employment agreement to the current Executive Director for the 26-27 school year, effective July 1st, 2026. LCAP Goal Action, Goal 1, Action 2. Funding source, general fund, budget financial impact will be reflected in the 26-27 budget. It's recommended the Board of Directors approve action item B. Okay, now I need to read this out. As to this item regarding approval of the Executive Director's employment agreement, I'm required by law to indicate prior to any vote on the employment agreement that the agreement provides the following: a term of 1 year from July 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2027, a work schedule of a minimum of 239 days annually, annual base salary of $206,230.50, of which will need to be inserted into the employment agreement for the 26-27 school year. Doctoral stipend of $3,590 per year, 12 days of sick leave annually, 10 paid vacation days per fiscal year up to a maximum of 15 days. Health benefit premiums as granted to other IA employees. Participation in CalSTRS or CalPERS subject to program and eligibility requirements as applicable. I move that the board approve the employment agreement for the executive director with the terms previously mentioned and find that the overall compensation is fair and reasonable based upon compensation paid to executives of similar schools in the region. Is there any discussion on this? Is there a motion?
I motion we approve the agreement.
Thank you, Felipe. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you, David. We'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Congratulations, Dr. Henry. Okay, moving on to approve the job description, Nutrition Services Assistant. This new part-time position for the 26-27 school year will provide daily support to the Nutrition Services Specialist. With increasing enrollment and staggered lunch schedules, it is beneficial that IA has additional staff to serve our students breakfast and lunch and assist with nutritional compliance guidelines. LCAP Goal Action, Goal 2, Action 5, funding source, general fund, budget financial impact approximately $20,000 to $27,300, including salary and benefits, will be included in the 26-27 budget. It's recommended the board of directors approve action item C. Any comments on this? You do?
I can say, looking at the enrollment, the increase in enrollment for next year, that we sat as a cabinet, we've had many discussions. These positions are very intentional and they're very minimal. Barring anything very unusual happening, these would be the only additional job descriptions that we would bring. So at the last board meeting, the board approved the health tech position. And we did that one early because we were going to fly it sooner, because we have a sub. These will all start for next year and for the 26-27 school year. So they're job descriptions, and we think it's very minimal based on the amount of student increase that we're going to have, and also necessary.
So we will use a kind of an impact on the, the P&L, the financial statement. So this was this, so in the previous budget, yeah,
For
budget,
2026.
2026.
Yeah, see,
yeah.
so this position is for 26,
26,
27. So for
27.
next year, not.
Next year, for not, okay, for not for
So
We brought it a little early just because for planning purposes, and also we know that our late April meeting is going to also have board interviews, so I brought as many items as I could to this meeting so we could shorten some of them.
So it would be included.
included for next school year.
So by approving this, we would be able to add it.
Yeah, and she can go ahead.
And also, we've already drafted the budget. It's not finalized. You will get the final 26-27 starting budget in May at that board meeting. But we've been working with AJ with these positions included, and we still are projecting a very favorable budget.
Let me ask you this, so part-time position also entitled to full benefits?
No, it is only when they hit full-time that are classified staff, because this is a classified position, not a certificated position.
Gotcha.
That's when they are entitled to benefits.
Yeah, because it says including salary and benefits.
Yeah, it's just showing it's the whole, any other kind of benefits that we offer, not necessarily health benefits.
All right.
What's part-time? What's considered part-time?
So that varies depending on the position. I know in the description, if we pull that up, I can look for it.
That's okay.
It has the number of hours for this specific
That's okay.
position.
I thought it was a general number, but that's fine.
As you can see, I have the after. As you see, we have another one.
Yeah,
So,
so there's actually two.
Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve the job description.
Thank you, Felipe. Thank you, Molly. Take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Okay, moving on to the approved job description, behavior intervention instructional aid. This new part-time position for the 26-27 school year will work under the supervision of the Director of Student Services. The behavior intervention instructional aid will provide individualized, applied behavioral and instructional support to students with learning and behavioral needs. The aid will also assist teachers with the implementation of IEPs and behavioral and intervention plans. The addition of this position will help maintain a safe, inclusive, and engaging learning environment at IIA. LCAP goal, action goal 1, action 9, funding source, special education funding. Budget financial impact approximately $25,300 to $33,300, including salary and benefits, will be included in the 26-27 budget. It's recommended the Board of Directors approve action item D. Any comments?
Yes, so as we were having some behaviors earlier on in the school year, we did discuss, we already have 3 instructional assistants who serve our special education students on an IEP that have special needs. But we do not have a BI, is what it's called, a behavior interventionist. So when we need a behavior interventionist, we contract out. And the difference is, we already have these positions, but if we have this upgraded job description, then we won't need to contract out. We would just have one of our aides serving our students with disability would be more highly trained, and we could utilize them more to support teachers in the classrooms. So one of the special ed aides would be more highly trained in behavior interventions, and then it could also do assessments for IEPs, could do observations, and we wouldn't have to, we currently, when we have someone that needs those kind of assessments, contract out with Effectual.
So do you know roughly, because we contract out, when we have a situation, roughly how long does it take for intervention actually to be delivered with that outside service? Does it normally take a few days before someone actually comes, or do we have any idea of a?
So I think it depends. Some of the assessments are taking a little longer for us to get someone here to actually do the assessments because they have to observe over several days. We've been handling internally if it is something that's happening right now, and we don't really have anyone that would train the teachers on this. I'm really I brought this type of a position in before for a small increase in pay. You get a specialty that you can utilize and that benefits the school in a lot of different ways. So if we see a certain grade level, second grade is having these behaviors, one of our Wednesdays, we could have the BI come in. They can also sit and observe that classroom and give them specific advice on how to deal with certain behaviors.
Since this person gonna write IEPs,
This person, yes, and we have that on here too, would contribute. If it were an IEP where the student had a behavior intervention plan and/or an initial IEP where that type of assessment is needed or recommended, then they would. It wouldn't be for every student. It would just be ones where their input was needed as part of the meeting.
so this person not necessarily needs to have a special ed.
I have the job description. The education, it's not to this point of an ed specialist. It is an associate degree or higher. It's passage of the CBEST, but it's completion of different hours of college coursework to meet the requirements of in behavior intervention. So it's very specialized. And we did a salary compensation, and we are at the higher end. We're very comparable to where IUSD is for the same type of positions. So we wanted to make sure we did that too.
Any other questions?
Just one question. So this person, probably similar to other employees here, when they're not functioning as the behavioral specialist, they have other tasks.
Yeah, they would be working every day, the whole time. They would be, and their schedule would be managed by the Director of Student Services. So our aides, it would depend on our need, but we could, it will be very flexible where could place them in this classroom because they're having behaviors during this day. Then you're going to be with this student, and then in the afternoon you'll do we will have total control of where our needs are. It's hard for us to anticipate where our behaviors will be next year. We know some based on what we've had this year, but we're getting an influx of quite a few new students, and so it will vary, but it actually gives us more flexibility. But at the minimum, they'd be an aide supporting our students with special needs. And the funding will come from our special education funding.
So we just would provide a more immediate service instead of having to outsource that person.
Yes.
So currently, any situations are handled by external service, right? We don't have anybody internally.
Well, I will say anything that comes up is handled internally. It's handled by Mr. Fernandez. It's handled by Mr. Schmitter, myself, our assistant principal, and Mario, really, Mr. Escalante. If there are behaviors, we are doing that. The piece that we're missing is having someone who can, if the need exists, sit and correct behaviors, write a plan, and then train the teacher how to address the behaviors in the classroom with support. It's more, we are reactive instead of being more proactive on how to change behaviors. I will say though, I am proud of our team because many of the behaviors we were seeing, we are resolving, but this gives us a way to address them for very little cost above, because you'd have a one-on-one aide anyway. This is just a little step higher and someone who's more trained and can work with the staff more. Instead of like our current IAs for special education, they follow the student, but they're not training teachers on here's how you can, find out what the antecedent to that behavior is, or those types of things.
So this is only for special education or for general, for
Oh, we
all the students?
We can use for all of the students because they will be also doing observations and assessments for special education. And if we have no behaviors magically, we would use them as a special education aid. That's why it's special education funding, but they can help any of our students.
And further question. Typically in other schools, how do you handle this type of situation? Do they have a special person or specialist, or this can be handled by other teachers or assistant principals, for example?
Are you asking what other schools do? I think it depends on, I know that this is a job description that is widely used. In a previous organization, I used this as a strategy and it was very helpful to be able to not just reactively address behavior, but really get to the core of educating teachers and giving them strategies and skills and plans on how, if a student does this, here's how you will react. And so it was, the reason for bringing this forward was actually based on my observations in my first 4 months here.
Yeah. So my concern is we can't bring all the functions in-house. I recall last board meeting we brought in health.
A health tech?
Yeah, health tech. And today we decided to bring a nutrition specialist, and then we're going to have a special behavior intervention. We're going to, then it seems to me we're going to bring a lot of kind of special.
We're looking at for adding 100 students this year and possibly close to that for next year. Just bringing in an aide to help pass out lunches and breakfasts, and also upgrading one of our aides, and the possibility of an ed specialist, which is the next item, is actually, it's pretty minimum. And we did look at enrollment and what that increase in our budget would be, looking at need. And then if there, the only other need I could see, but that wouldn't be a job description, is at the beginning of the year, we'll look at if we have enough campus aides to provide security on the playground, right? So we are looking, and I hope that you'll see with the budget that and also with where we are right now with our reserves, we are not, in my opinion, over hiring or trying to get too many people. We're really just trying to target the need and also build up the people that we have. And I think we've done a pretty good job of that.
Maybe I can add too. When I was a teacher at Cypress, so I will say at the very beginning, if we have a student with behavior in the classroom, and if that student does not have a IEP, they can't really go to the psychologist. So I had to find time to go to the psychologist and ask for advice. How do I handle a situation like this? But I will say the past 10 years probably, a lot of school has what they call coaches. And so the coach is kind of like a special behavior person that work on different areas and work on curriculum and work on whatever the teacher needs support. And they will go to this person. This person does not have their own classroom. They have a small group. Then this person will come and take care. So I think this is important. Big support for the classroom teacher, especially nowadays we encounter more and more behavior problems.
Yeah, it really is just upgrading a aid position we already have.
Yeah, so you already have this need. and you're really outsourcing to satisfy this need. So in the long run, it probably will equal out or cost us less in the long run if we just have this person. And then we get a better, I think we get a better result if they're always here than if they're not.
I would assume, some experienced teachers, even assistant principals, would have, the training or experience in handle situations like that. That's my opinion.
Definitely have to hire the right person and then also put them in the right situation to be successful and provide them opportunities to go to county trainings and do other things. That is extremely important, you're right.
I think our principal, to count on your point there, our principal is doing other functions that we need him to do. It's not like he can't deal with behavioral problems, because he should be able to, but he can't do that full-time or even part-time or even, a tenth of his time, right? He needs to be focused.
Well,
on
my argument is, you can't, kind of, put all the functions, I mean, schools are, it's like, yeah, it's huge, a lot of things, so you can't possibly bring all the pieces in-house. You just can't, I just, every conceivable so-called specialist in-house.
We still have quite a few services, so like one,
Yeah.
just to let you know, is counseling. We've just had to add a third day to our outsourced counselor, so we have them 3 days a week full-time, and that caseload is getting to be full. But we're looking at how much do we pay to outsource, and would we save money by bringing it
That's
in?
the point.
Same with the
That's okay,
school psych. So that was an exercise we went through last week during cabinet, is particularly with the counseling position, and we decided it would benefit us to continue to outsource at least going into this year. And again, that's the plan unless anything drastically changes.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion for this position?
I'll make a motion, we approve the behavioral.
Thank you, Felipe. I'm happy to second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
So it passes. 3 were ayes, 1 nay. Okay. Next, approved revision of the IIA salary schedule for classified staff. The approved salary schedule for classified staff will be revised to reflect the addition of a nutrition services assistant and a behavior intervention instructional aid position. LCAP goal, action, goal 2, action 5, and goal 1, action 9. Funding source, general fund and special education funding. Budget financial impact not to exceed $63,000, including salary and benefits, will be included in the 26-27 budget. It's recommended the board of directors approve action item E. Any comments?
This is only just adding those two onto the salary schedule that we already have. And the salary schedule is in the folder, and the amounts match what I put in each item, that range on the above items. So for the behavior interventionist, the 25,300 to 33, I put that because that's the range, and when we look at who we hire, we'll decide where they go based on experience.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve the salary schedule.
Thank you, Felipe. Is there a second? Thank you, Molly. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Dr. Henry, one thing I'm noticing on all of these documents is it said board approved with tomorrow's date. Is there any particular reason for that?
I am not sure those were the items that were done by HR. I'm not sure why, but I can have her change that before we post it.
Okay.
And-
Yeah, all of these, the
And I think it could have been that it just meant it was going into place. I think it was maybe a typo, but I'll make sure that
Okay.
she fixes those.
So
We
it's
apologize.
for the nutrition, the behavioral, the
Okay.
salary schedule, I mean, all these things we're approving are dated for tomorrow.
Okay. I'll make sure those are changed on the actual documents.
Okay, approve job description of education specialist. The education specialist position represents a new job description for IA. Although the school has previously employed staff in this role, following final enrollment and program data for the 26-27 school year, school will review the caseload of students with disabilities to determine staffing needs to ensure compliance with applicable special education requirements and the provision of services outlined in student individualized education programs, IEPs. The education specialist will serve as a member of the IEP team and support the implementation of instructional programs for students with exceptional needs. LCAP goal, action goal 1, action 9, funding source, special education funding, budget financial impact approximately $81,300 to $124,400, including salary and benefits, will be included in the 26-27 budget. It's recommended the board of directors approve action item. Any comments?
Yes. So when Mr. Fernandez was first hired, he was an educational specialist. He was an educational specialist for a few years, but we did not have a written job description. Then he became the director of student services, and then we didn't have a need for an educational specialist. This year, we actually have a staff member who is serving as a .5 educational specialist. The staff member teaches half the day and then is supporting, because of the large caseloads, is reporting Mr. Fernandez as a .5 educational specialist, and the person had the appropriate education and qualifications to do so. So currently we already have a .5. We do not have a job description, and it really is just giving us the latitude by adding the job description, is we would then look at our numbers to see if we have a need based on caseloads, and we have to be compliant with federal caseloads. So again, we already have a .5. This would just allow us to hire another part-time, another full-time, depending on what the need is. I will say one more thing. When I came in and first reviewed the budget, I was told, and by Mr. Delano, I was told by Dr. Kernan, and also by the county, and by LA SELPA, that we had been underspending our special education funding. Special education funding is meant to be used, not to save, not to build your budget or your reserves. And we were told that we were underspending last year by about $250,000. There's something else that's called maintenance of effort. We have to show with any increase that we're increasing our spending, that we are maintaining an effort to provide services to our students. So I looked at the budget for this year, and even though we did add a position and that .5 educational specialist, we still, in our projected budget, put these positions in, taking that .5 ed specialist to a full-time, and we're still underspending our special education funding for next year. This year we had, I think, I just got all the numbers, about $550,000 that we had to spend, and if you put all the people there, and we don't have specialized classrooms because we're full inclusion, which make it a little harder for us to utilize our whole special education budget.
Okay.
I have a question. Is this a job description for a new hire or for existing position?
Well, at this point, we do have the position for for a half-time person, and for next year, what I let our staff know is we have to look at all of our new. Well, I was told that in the next 2 weeks, because of requests for assessments, we plan to have about 5 more students qualify within the next few weeks, and we've seen that coming. So our caseload has just bumped, and then we have to look at all of the students that are registering from the lottery and get all of the list of students that have IEPs. And then I have to have Mr. Fernandez review all the IEPs with the families to look at, if they're speech only, or do they need something more, and kind of come up before we make any decision if we're going to have a half or a full person. We have to see what our enrollment of students with disabilities is, and we're following legal caseload numbers.
And, okay, so this job, the salary you proposed here, that's, even though it's a range, it's for a full-time position, right?
The salary is for a full-time, and the job is, but we certificated, so this isn't a classified, like this isn't hourly. We have the option to hire a 0.5 certificated position. We could hire a 0.5 teacher if we wanted, or a 0.5 ed specialist, because it's a certificated position.
So when it comes to a new hire, if you were to bring a new person, and, and the salary level, if you push it to the higher end, so will the board actually take a look at, the CVs or resumes, or
So we actually have quite a process that was put together by Dr. Kernan and Betsy last year. That's when they gave you the salary ranges. We look at those step-in columns are based on acceptable years of service. So we look at, not only do we look at resumes, but we contact previous districts and have them, what's the right word, confirm that they have served in this capacity for this many years. And then we look at their transcripts and analyze the level of education. And then we fit them on the range based on where they fall. And so it depends on the person we hire, what they come in with, and then what is acceptable according to our processes. And the heavy lifting was done last year, because I know that Dr. Kernan and the team reviewed every employee and every transcript to make sure everyone was placed correctly, and we do that with any new hire as well. We don't just randomly pick, it's very much documented, and it's now, I think, a much more aligned and consistent process that we use now because of that heavy lifting that they did last year.
So the point of the question is, because of from 80,000 to 125, that's a huge range, right? Earlier we, for like $1,000, so we have a big discussion, right? And we take it very, very seriously. And when you take a look at this number, and my question is, who's going to make the final determination, and who's going to, make sure that the financial impact is a minimal.
So the hire, the hire would be, our team would decide the hire looking at the experience, and then we would get validation, college transcripts, and we look very carefully at every course, what counts, what falls under, and then we put them in, on the salary schedule. And then on the personnel report that you would approve, you would see where the person landed based on confirmed, documented experience. And so it really isn't just oh, we like you, so let's just start you here. It's more, you have this many years experience, you have this, and that's all part of the hiring process.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the job description.
Thank you, Felipe, I'm happy to second. Okay, we'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Okay. Executive Director's report.
So I'm going to make this short and sweet. I would like to start by acknowledging and thanking the board for your confidence in me and support over the last year. Actually, I was thinking about it. 2 days from now will be 1 year from my interview, when I first interviewed here. And my 1 year board approval is at the end of this month. So it has been quite a year, but I have felt very supported by this board. I am very thankful to have a board that we can communicate with, that will ask the hard questions is really important too, and push our thinking and actually communicate when maybe we have to think about things differently. So I do appreciate you. Thank you for your confidence, and I look forward to serving IIA community for another school year because it's been a pleasure. I've learned a lot, and it's a great school. And I also believe in the vision that is IIA, or no, the dream. I'm sorry, the dream that is IIA, like Mr. Delgado.
You know, and I remember that it was important that you laugh at my jokes.
Well, I do. Sometimes.
Amy told me that. She goes, "Don't worry, she'll laugh at your jokes."
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad we had some high criteria. Just some other things that are going on. There's a lot going on, but these are some things that, just to remind, that we do have open house on the 15th, but we're also doing our middle school information meeting right before open house. So for all of our 5th grade students, and we're reaching out to all the new, there weren't very many, but we did get some new 6th grade applicants that we've accepted through our lottery, anyone new in middle school. And what I love that our middle school team is, they're so excited about this, and they're adding on the 13th, so we can talk about it at the information day, they're going to do a 5th grade shadow day, where they shadow, the 5th graders shadow middle school students through their class schedule. They get to see how it works. They're going to have activities for them, because there is a change from being in, switching once Mandarin to English to switching courses all day. So they have some great activities where they're going to learn about the electives. They're going to get to shadow the students. So that'll be something new. April 14th, we'll have our final LCAP meeting. Spring Fling, I keep reminding, is May 22nd. We're going to have a slide in every classroom during open house so that our families can see it from the teachers as well. We're really trying to support, because that is our PTO's biggest fundraiser, and they are so supportive of us. And so it's really important that we are getting the word out. Yearbooks are on sale, and I did want to make this note. In the past at IIA, it's always been parents that have done the yearbook, and not sure how the handover happened, because that was right about when I got here, but the handover did happen we have a yearbook class. I was sent a bunch of different pages to review last night, and Mr. Schmitter's doing the real detailed review for typos or anything like that. But visually, it looks great. The kids are so proud, and so in any of the communications, you might want to buy your yearbook, because we can order more if needed, but we're trying to take pre-sales for those. And then I guess just 2 more things. We're planning for summer school. We just put out our staff information. We're looking at the data for the students that will be targeted. Mostly it'll be ELOP students, but our summer school will run from June 10th to July 23rd. And then finally, if you want to learn more, Mr. Schmitter and Mr. Bravo, Gio, did a really good revamp of our ELOP page on our website. So it talks about all 3 of our programs, YMCA, Strategic Kids, as well as the ELOP program itself. I took a look today, it looked really good, and then there'll be a section on summer school as well. So those are my updates. Thank you.
Thank you. Board Directors reports?
Oh, actually, can I make one more?
Yep.
Finally, sorry, I had my paper over my book that I was supposed to show. So I also wanted to thank Mr. Delgado, but also Dr. Bean, who sent a copy of his book, Lifted to Lead, signed to all of our IIA students. So we're really excited, and this will be placed in our library. Thank you.
I'll start with, Dr. Bean didn't send that. I bought it.
Oh,
I had to buy it.
he signed it.
He signed it, but I bought it. And it was my idea to put it in the library. But, yeah. Looking forward to the May dance event. I'm part of the planning there, and I can tell you they're planning a pretty big shoot. So be ready. It's our typical IIA throws the big event at the end of the year, and they are They will not, it won't falter. So, just to let you know, please attend, please sponsor, please buy tickets and so on, okay? That's all I have.
So, Dr. Henry, I just want to tell you that I'm so grateful that, we have you here, and I look forward to another year. And we've seen a huge improvement, a lot of programs, a lot of different, how do I say, like the structure of the school, and you make it so clear, and you actually see the little needs here and there, and you find ways to fill in the gap. And you also, at the same time, also notice that you challenges teachers, and you use their specialties in the place, and that's why the teachers and staff, they are so happy because they're doing something they really enjoy, and I think that it's also because you notice their talents in certain ways, and you use them the right way. So thank you for being a leader, and I also look forward to knowing that the middle schooler is going to guide the younger brother and sister into middle school. I think that's just such a wonderful idea for the fifth grader coming into next year. So thank you for creating that opportunity for them. Thank you.
Yeah, first of all, congratulations on the unanimous approval from the board, no reservation whatsoever. So we are fortunate to have you join the team. And I can't believe it's almost a year, truly. I would love to reserve, some comments of when at the anniversary. But, today is, I think is the right moment because, I'm glad the board, came to the conclusion. Yeah, we're going to bring you, have working with you continuously going forward. And we're looking forward to another successful and more productive year. And you really brought a lot of experience, fantastic experience. I can see that. And it reflects in everything we do in daily operation, and a lot of formalities. I think it will be kind of more and more like a mature school. That's great. Yeah. So I'm happy.
I just want to thank the board for your continued support, your participation. We've had good discussions. Good questions, and just love the engagement. Dr. Henry, congratulations again. Thank you for demonstrating a lot of care for this school. I can definitely feel your care and your love for this school. So thank you very much. Thank you to the PTO that continues to support this school, all the students and the families, and I'm just grateful to be a part of it. So thank you very much. Okay, it's recommended the Board of Directors adjourn. It's recommended the Board adjourn the regular meeting of the Irvine International Academy Board of Directors on April 7, 2026. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Molly. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Meeting adjourned to 8:22 p.m.
Now you can talk.
Yeah, I just noticed that
Thank you.
dealing with the new format, and please